Hi, Grinders. It's Duckie Succumbs from Roto Grinders. Well, you knew that already. What a way to start the show already. This is called One-on-One with Duckie. It's a new podcast we're going to be trying out here on RG. Originally, I've been writing for Roto Grinders as well as doing Night Sweats. And one of my articles that I did was called Better Know a Grinder, where we got to know the people in DFS a little bit better, some more stuff about them outside of the DFS arena. And we decided to make this into a podcast. Hopefully this will work out, considering the opening I just did. Anything's possible. But since we're doing our first show, we might as well go big. We brought in the player of the year for DFS this year at Roto Grinders. We brought in EHafner to the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Duckie. You took me out of my DFS obsession, and it's going to be a pleasure to chat with you today.
Well, and I have to say, unfortunately, since this is an audio podcast, it's a disappointment because your mustache right now is awesome. I got to say, it's
yeah. I went contrarian with my facial hair. You know, it's usually either the full goatee or the beard. Not too many people rocking the full mustache outside of November.
Yeah, last time I tried one was a couple Novembers ago, and it was a train wreck. It was just awful. So, unfortunately, there are some pictures out there in the world that show how bad it was, but we'll skip that. We'll save that for another time. The idea of this show is that we are going to bring on DFS people and talk about a specific subject that either I will suggest to the guest or they will come to me and say, I'd really like to talk about this. And this first show, Eric here decided to go big. He's not messing around here. He's going full bore. He decided he wanted to talk about Donald Trump today.
Absolutely.
I know that's a delicate subject, and I know we may lose 30% of the audience either way by just bringing up those words, but trust me, we're going to try to be as objective as possible and just discuss. I think we're more discussing the idea of Donald Trump's popularity more than Donald Trump, the person himself, but I'm sure we'll get into both. Before we do that, though, we should just, since this is a DFS site, we should talk a little DFS before this. You had a huge year last year. Player of the year. Have you reached a point now where this is your sole job now? You're not doing anything else in the community?
Yes, I've been playing full time I'm in my fourth year now. So
you're in your fourth now. So what were you doing before that?
So before that, I was playing professional poker. I was a Poker Stars cash game grinder. I was one of those guys that would load up 24 tables and just play a ton of hands, and I had a pretty decent win rate. And then Black Friday hit, and I didn't have the guts to move overseas to like a Costa Rica or a Canada, so I was kind of left with I was scrambling. I was just kind of living off my poker money, trying to find a job, and then I found DFS and decided, hey, I'll give this a shot.
I mean, were you a big sports expert, would you say, or a sports fan at that point, or is this just something you saw the opportunity and you saw the potential for money in the situation?
Yeah, I was a big sports fan before I even found DFS. I was into fantasy sports as well. I always played fantasy sports. I was in a pretty competitive group. That's how I found DFS. I was in a competitive season-long league with some friends. And I found FanDuel while I was researching for fantasy basketball, and it just kind of blew up from there for me.
Yeah, you were in the FanDuel commercials quite a bit, I recall.
I won $62,000, Duckie.
Yeah, I know. That's ingrained in my memory now. I will never forget that you won $62,000. That's and I won't show any hostility that I was also up for those commercials and they didn't put me on them, but we'll let that go. Yeah. I'm actually glad, because I'm sure you reached a point where people just got sick of seeing you on TV after a while, right?
Yeah, I got a lot of interesting reactions. My friends usually just tease me about it. Oh, you look nervous or you're shaking a little bit in the commercial, and I was like, I was only on it for a couple seconds, so it's nothing to freak out about. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's fun.
it made you a celebrity in the DFS community, I guess, would be the way you and Butterballs. Where it's
Yes, Butterballs and Mr. Joey Watts with the
yeah,
with
Joey
the
Watts. Yeah,
yeah.
we talked to him too before on Night Sweats, I believe, and we had Bradley C even on the show. So, but you know what? Enough about DFS right now. You came here to talk about Trump, so we're going to talk about Trump. I'm going to give the people or the person what they want.
Future President Donald Trump, right?
Oh, I'm gonna try to be as objective as possible. I mean, if anybody follows me on Twitter at Duckie Succumbs, you know my political leanings, so I won't go deep into that. Why do you think Donald Trump has touched a nerve right now in society?
Let's see here. Well, I think one of the biggest things that Donald Trump has going for him is he's a master of the media. You know, he knows that any attention he gets, whether it's positive or negative, is good for his campaign. And so he's willing to just bait them a little bit to get get the attention, win the day in media. So he'll say things like, I think one of his quotes was that Mexicans are sending all kinds of different people, and his quote was actually pretty nuanced. But then he threw out the word rapists, right? Like they're
Mm-hmm.
sending rapists, and the media, instead of, he actually gave a pretty nuanced quote, but the media likes to just grab for a story, right? Because they're insatiable for good stories. So they just take that one part, the rapist part, and just run with it, right? Like, oh, media, Donald Trump is saying that Mexico sends rapists to America. So the media just takes his words without context, runs with it, and then Trump gets to play the victim, which is good for his campaign because the media just bite. They bite and
It's
just
true.
run with it. We
It's
saw that. We saw this with DFS, Ducky.
yeah.
We absolutely saw it with DFS, right?
Oh, go ahead. Discuss the parallels between Trump and the media and DFS and the media, please.
Well, we saw the way that the media runs with a story with what happened to Ethan.
Yes, that's true.
You
And
you saw what happened to Ethan, right? The whole he's an insider trader. He he used that information to his huge advantage, and that's the only reason why he won $350,000, right? As if that were possible.
yeah. Well, I mean, yes, you and I both know how hard that would actually be to accomplish that through 1 second of insider trading, I guess. I mean, he might have the information 1 second before. He's not unless he could freeze time at that point. I don't think that there's any. But yeah, the media does tend to overblow situations. But I mean, I would argue that Trump has also taken full advantage of that situation as soon as he saw the points that he was getting with specific groups of people. He decided this is my base, and he went there with it.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
He he's an interesting guy. I wouldn't be surprised if I probably shouldn't say that, but what if he staged those attacks against him just to win the day in media?
Um, I mean, it's
Could you
entirely
see him doing that? Maybe I've been watching too much House of Cards, Ducky, but what
yeah.
if he staged those attacks just to win the day in media? He gets to play the victim, and kind of just win the day again with media. Everyone's talking about him.
Well, I mean, it's very possible. I mean, he watches all the TV news shows, so he might watch House of Cards as well. So that's entirely possible. Um, but I don't even know if he has to stage it, just because even when he loses, he seems to get 24 hours of coverage. So, and I guess to him, that's the most important thing. I mean, do you think reality television itself is created this, or do you think this is just more of a political sea change in society right now that just America's getting angrier?
Maybe I think maybe social media has helped it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just made media in general more significant, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
So being able to, the value in being a master of media has gone up ever since, Twitter, Facebook, and then along with the networks, it's one of his strong suits for sure.
Yeah.
And, I think another thing that he has going for him is he's just super confident. Like he's I know I don't know if you listen to Bill Simmons, but there's irrational confidence athletes. Well, Donald Trump's like an irrational, confident politician.
So you're saying he's the J.R. Smith of politicians?
He's got swagger. He doesn't let anyone bring him down. You try to pin him down with one of his maybe hypocritical statements. He'll just reframe the argument, or he'll get off with humor or something, and he'll just shrug it off. He's impressive. He probably mastered that, through many years of working out deals and doing business. So
no, that's true.
Definitely impressive.
I mean, in terms of a DFS, if you had to put salaries on the remaining candidates right now for a tournament, where would you put the candidates right now? What would you set their budgets at right now? And which one would you probably be backing? Okay.
I think Hillary Clinton's a pretty big favorite, so she's going to be the chalk.
Okay.
And then probably Trump after that.
Mm-hmm.
So Hillary's such a big favorite that she would be your whole salary.
She's bigger than what Russell Westbrook right now is what you're saying.
Absolutely. And then I don't even know who would come in third. Duckie, who do you like to come in third there?
Probably if I was doing them as DFS players, Hillary right now would probably be the Westbrook salary, and I'd probably put Trump around. I'd probably put him around, a solid 9,200 kind of player, that kind of thing. Just below the elite tier, but somebody that you would be like a Draymond Green salary probably would be in that range right there, where you might get a 50-point, 60-point game, but you might get something a little bit lower. And then after that, I'd pretty much put Cruz and Sanders pretty equal. They're probably in the Paul Millsap category of salaries, probably like low 8,000s. And then Rubio would be your TJ McConnell right now.
Okay. So as a Hillary supporter, just hypothetically,
okay,
I think if I were a Hillary supporter, I would donate to Cruz.
You think?
I think Hillary would have a much easier time beating Cruz than Trump.
So right now, if you thought so, you'd say like if Hillary went up against Trump, what would you put the odds at right there right now? Where would you give her? Would you give her like a minus 120, minus 200, something like that, or?
See, what I think might happen is I think a third party might get involved to hurt Trump.
Sure.
So weighing that factor, I think I've seen the current odds are about Trump has about 30% chance, 30 or 35. So that's probably about right. But if he gets a 1v1 versus Hillary, maybe it's closer to 55-45.
And then but Cruz you'd put probably as like a 2-1, 3-1 dog then in that situation, I would guess, right?
Yeah, I think he's too far right to win a general election versus Hillary.
It would be tough, yeah, I would say. I mean, now what would you say if Bernie? I mean, Bernie's got a big day tomorrow, so where would you put Bernie in this situation?
Yeah, Bernie's like a super contrarian play at this point. I think his odds are over 10-1. So I think he would lose to anyone but Cruz, basically.
So you think
But
Trump would beat Bernie in this situation? You think that would be
I think he would.
yeah.
But yeah, I just think Trump's polling better than Bernie. But I don't see Bernie. He's a long shot even to beat Hillary. So he could be done by tomorrow.
I just had actually a better example for Hillary. Hillary is Anthony Davis.
Oh
And
no. Okay.
just because there's just that chance that everything blows up and you get the, like the emails bounce or something, something happens. And Hillary, you spent your max salary, your top salary on, but then one of the crises comes up and she doesn't, some reason it doesn't work for her this time. And
That's
while
excellent.
you still expect a triple or a double from her, uh, there's that slim chance she gets knocked out in the first quarter.
Right.
And it's just a fear, but but I'm not saying who. I mean, it's obvious who I'm supporting, uh, but that being said, I would probably. I mean, there are polls that have come out that would say that Sanders is a favorite against Trump, and some have said he's a bigger favorite against Trump. But I don't know. I still think there's this little fear that I have that Hillary's the better chance of getting elected in that situation. So
Right. Yeah, she has all the endorsements of the establishment.
yeah. Well, what would you say? I mean, the strange thing is, it's very easy to take Trump and just say, well, all the people that are voting for him or supporting him are rednecks or stupid, and just go easily just dismiss. But it seems, and a lot of people in our community, smart people are supporting Trump. People uh, that you just don't think of them as going for the baser parts of Trump are supporting him. Do you think this is just a party situation where they always go for the person in the party, or do you think there's something else that is making them stay that way?
I don't think it's just a Republican voting for the lead Republican at all. I think people they feel that Trump has got an unfair shake in the media. I'm one of those people. I think they tend to exaggerate things, and Trump gives them an inch, and the media tries to take a mile. So
Understood.
I'm not saying I'm a Trump supporter. I'm an undecided. I wait till it gets down to 2, and then I'll make my decision from there.
That's fair.
But
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think people he gets put in a bad light for entertainment purposes, for media purposes. The media wants to be entertaining more than they want to be right. So
Well, it's a hot take kind of place. It's like Skip Bayless and other thing. But I mean, you could argue some of the stuff that he has done is been purposeful, and he's been, I guess, trolling would probably be the best way. Some cases he's trolling in these situations, right?
he's definitely hyperbolic.
Right.
He polarizes everything, right? So if you're pro Trump, you're the best.
Hmm.
This sheriff that just endorsed him is the toughest on illegal immigration. Ben Carson's a genius at education or something, right? And you know, if you're anti-Trump, Hillary would be a total disaster that America wouldn't recover from for 500 years, or I think that was the quote, 300 years or something, or you know, people that that are anti-Trump are dopes and idiots. So he does like to polarize things.
Yeah.
It's
Well, that's
hyperbolic.
so overall, though. I mean, I'm not asking who you're choosing because obviously you already answered that. But overall, though, you think Hillary's probably the favorite right now and will stay there in that for the time being, at least, especially if it goes head to head. Correct?
Yeah, I think Trump's route to winning would have to be just him crushing Hillary in the debates. He would just have to crush her, I think, because he's gonna lose. Like, all the Democrats are gonna vote Hillary, I think, and then Trump's gonna lose some Republicans too. So it's gonna be tougher, and maybe he can get like a left winning third party to enter the race, but yeah, he's just gonna have to crush Hillary.
If Bloomberg enters the race, which he says he's not, so he might be the X factor because he might take from both sides.
Yeah, I saw that he wrote that his biggest fear would be entering the race and Trump winning the nomination, right?
Yeah, because I mean, to me, Trump would have to win in an election where 35-40% is the winner. To me, and the only way you're getting that is three-party. It's similar to when Clinton won, and low 40s was enough to win the presidency. But if Rick Perry or Ted Cruz want to enter, be my guest. Feel free.
Well, that could be part of the reason too why he was able to pick up steam is because the Republicans opened with what, like 17 candidates, 17 candidates. So, the people that are for Trump are really for Trump. So he had, even if he got to like 13% early, that was good enough to lead because, there's so much overlap in the early stages. Like,
right.
What's the difference between, even now, like Rubio and Kasich? It's kind of, they're kind of vanilla the same to me. So there's a lot of overlap there, it feels like.
Yeah. Well, by the way, one of those guys is my cousin. If people didn't know that, one of the candidates is my cousin. So
really,
I'm not voting for him, but you could probably guess which one's my cousin just from
Rubio, right?
Yeah, of course. You can tell I've got the Rubio look, but yeah, John Kasich is. I at least I've been told by my family John Kasich is my cousin. So, but good luck to him. I'm not voting for him, but good luck to him. So
it's looking like he'll win Ohio.
Yeah, he's got that. Yeah, he's got that going for him. So, which will make if the election comes down to a brokered convention, if it's complete chaos where nobody has enough delegates to vote or to win, is the Republican Party in danger at that situation?
Yeah, I would assume so. I mean, Hillary's not the greatest candidate on the Democrat side, but you got to figure she would win if the Republicans, couldn't get behind one guy.
Yeah. Actually, that's the interesting thing. I mean, if we were talking about the DFS salaries, if you were willing to buy Paul Ryan, say at $3,000, admin salary, you could you're probably getting a zero, but yeah.
You could have got Donald Trump at 3,000 pretty early.
I would say so. I'd say the opening situation. I guess that would make Jeb Bush kind of the what would be a perfect example of Jeb Bush in this situation. Who was somebody in NFL this year that was gone immediately?
Maybe like like Drew Brees sometimes has some like in good spots. He feels great, and then he just busts out, just nothing.
Yeah. Or like having Le'Veon Bell. Would be your Jeb Bush there, and going from there. But all right, well, I guess for the first show, this wasn't too bad. I think it was comfortable.
Let me get. Are you a fan of baseball, Duckie?
I'm a big fan. My one final was in baseball in FanDuel.
All right. So, let me get a baseball hot take in real quick.
Oh, please do. I'm sure.
Okay. So Have you been following hockey at all? How they changed the overtime rules and it's a big success?
Yes, that's down to 3-on-3. Yeah.
What do you think of baseball changing extra innings a little bit?
Okay.
Open to
And what would this change be? I'm a little sketchy right off the bat, but I'm interested. So go
okay.
ahead.
Well,
Yeah.
I want them to do this for the whole game because I think it's infinitely more entertaining. But just for extra innings, just a slow start.
Mm-hmm.
Let's scrap the batting order and have the managers send 9 guys up one at a time.
Oh.
More offense.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely so. Pretty
Strategy.
much, if your guy strikes out at the bottom of the ninth and the game goes into extra innings, he can then be the first guy up in the next inning.
Correct. So your base is nerds, right? Right.
Yeah.
There's a good amount of nerds that love baseball. They would love this because every at bat's a strategy decision, right?
So you're saying it would be every at bat they could bring up the same 3 guys every inning. There they go. You can bring up the same 3 guys.
No, you still have to bat. All 9 of your guys.
Okay. It's a hot take. I'll give you that.
I'm telling you, this would be the best. Once Google's mastering technology right now. They got computers beating these Chinese geniuses at complex board games. So I figure baseball can embrace technology a little bit and maybe advance their game.
Sure.
Make it a little more entertaining.
No, I mean it's Rob Manfred. Eric's available to talk to you.
I'm calling the commissioner's office.
Yeah, I mean he's available. I mean if you want to discuss this idea in detail, I mean I'm sure you'd fly out to New York for a quick meeting if need be. Correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, well there you go. The greatest minds of DFS are available to you. I'm not putting myself in that category, but Eric could definitely help you out. I thank you. First show in the bag. You're a great sport for joining in, and I hope there's nothing on here that's going to cause any trouble. I don't think there was. I think it was pretty clean. So
yeah, it went by
night sweats where we swear half the time.
Oh snap!
So we kept it clean. So you can put this on the family hour, Dan and Cam and all those guys. I just want to say next week I think we're going to be having EMAC on the show. We haven't decided on the topic. It's either going to be 80s movies or we're going to talk about how to become a writer in fantasy sports. We haven't decided. We may do both next week. So, but once again, thank you, EMAC. I mean, thank you, Eric. Yeah. Catch him on FanDuel commercials when they come back again. I'm sure we'll be seeing him again sometime. You'll be getting a second tape and keep the mustache.
For sure. It's been a pleasure, Duckie.
Thanks. Take care. Bye.
All right. See ya.